video is aimed at beginner bass players, so if you're new to the instrument, first of all, congratulations, excellent choice. Secondly, I'm not going to bore you with the names of the open strings or the instrument parts and their names. I'm pretty sure you've done all your homework. My main concern is to get you playing and get you playing quickly. We're just going to look at some open string ideas, a simple picking idea, and some simple damping or muting ideas as well. So first of all, we're just going to look at playing the open string for 4 beats, and the note that represent 4 beats is known as a semi-breve or a whole note. Looks like a circle. So the next thing to bear in mind is picking itself. We're just going to use one picking finger, and there was indeed a very famous bass player who used to use just one picking finger for his whole career. His name was Jamerson. And there's a link below to him. Watch how he used his picking technique. The first thing to bear in mind with the picking finger is try and make sure that it doesn't bend in too much when you play on the string. Try and put enough tension in the finger there just to make sure it doesn't fold up, and that will improve your tone and your timing quite a bit. I always think of picking a little bit like using a bow and arrow. You put the energy into the string and then you release it. And we're doing exactly the same thing with the bass string. We're just putting the pressure into the string and letting it go. Notice that I've got all my fretting hand fingers just lying on the strings, just making sure they're not making any noise, so it's nice and relaxed this side. We'll come back to that in a minute. But all I'm doing is putting pressure on the string and letting my finger roll off like that. And you can hear the tone there. And it's just resting onto the pickup and onto my thumb. Hence it's known as a rest stroke. Now if I do the same thing with the A string, what I can do is put my thumb on the E string and then put pressure onto the A string and just let it roll off the finger so that the picking finger lands onto the E string and my thumb as well, like that. Again, that's the rest stroke. So that's the only picking exercise we're going to be using. What I would recommend is that you go through all these different exercises again with your second finger. Careful how I demonstrate that. And then use alternating patterns as well. By using your second finger in isolation, you'll be used to using it on its own. So when you do put it together with the first finger, alternating, it's going to be a lot more easy for you. And same goes with using a pick. Start with downstrokes, then try practicing upstrokes, then put the two together, and eventually that will start working for you. It's just a step-by-step process. Practice, practice, and you will get there. I'm going to put the drum track on and we're going to play along with that, just with an open string. So notice the pattern lasts for 4 beats. Bass, snare, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, up to the A string. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, back to the E string. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Okay, notice with my fretting hand, I was just letting the hand relax on the strings. So when I went to the A string, I just pulled the hand down a little bit just to release the A string. When I went back to the E string, I just covered up the A string again, so there's no unwanted noise right there. Okay, the next note we're going to look at is a minim, also known as a half note. So our circle note there has now been cut into 2, and it's turned into 2 rugby balls with a stick attached to it. Half note. These notes are playing 2 per bar, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. The other thing to notice is that we'll still be playing with the bass drum on beat 1 and beat 3, like this. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. A string. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Back to E. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If we involve a little bit of damping with this, we can produce a tighter groove with the drums by creating a sort of call and response type effect. Now all we're going to do is use an open damping, which means, or muting, which means I'm just going to let my fingers rest on the string after I've played it. And the same with the A string. So let's try that with the drums. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Almost like you're clapping with the snare drum. Back to E. There's another way to damp the strings, the open strings this way, the first finger and the other fingers, and this is called split damping. And all we're doing here is keeping the first finger on those strings and letting the open string ring and then damp it with the other fingers. And that makes sure that we don't get any unwanted noise from the other strings as we're playing the open E. And again, we can do this with the open A. Again, look, my thumb has hopped down onto the E string, so it's just the A string being exposed. This is a little bit more tricky, so don't worry about practicing this in time for the moment. Just take your time and really get that action together, and eventually you will get it faster. Practice will get you there. Same with the A, nice and slow. So open, damp, open, damp, open, damp, and then gradually just try and get that a little bit more quick. And this is one of the most useful techniques that you will employ on the bass because it's going to crop up in so many different ways. I'm going to try this again, split damping with the open strings. 1, 2, 3, 4. The A string, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, back to E. The next rhythmic note in our sequence, and notice we're dividing the beat in half all the time, so we've gone from 4 beats to 2 beats. Now we're going to 1 beat every beat of the bar. This is known as a quarter note because we've divided our half note by half, so we get a quarter, and it's also known as a crotchet. So we're playing on the beat every beat, and it's going to sound like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Onto the A. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Back to E. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Let's try that with a bit of damping. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Open A. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The next rhythm up from that, we're going to divide our quarter note into half. So now we're going to end up with an 8th note. So that's 8 notes in your bar. And the way you count that is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And so you've got 1 on the beat and 1 off the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 1, 2, 3 up to A. Back to E. Okay, so that's 8th notes or quavers. The next thing we can do is start mixing up some of those rhythms, and this is a very common pattern indeed. If we listen to this drum beat, what we'll find is the bass drum is playing on beat 1, it's missing beat 2 because that's where the snare goes, but it's playing on the and of 2 and then playing the 3. So the and of 2 is an 8th note. So it's playing quarter note, skip, 8th note, quarter note, and it's going to sound like this. Here we go. Bass, snare, bass, snare. 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. Again, our job is to lock in with the drummer, and his job is to lock in with the bass player, So we're going to play that rhythm together. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 1, 2 and 3, 4. 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 Now I'm introducing damping as well. 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3. So notice we've got a call and response going on in between our playing and the snare drum. We're leaving space for the snare drum to cut through. 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3. The split damping. 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2. So there we go. I hope that's been of help to you, and I hope it's been a helpful introduction to rhythm as well, and looking at the notation side of that. Again, it's just a different way to look at music and remember music. It is a step forward into reading music if you want to go down that route, but it's also a way of just learning the rhythms that are going to help you play with drum kits and also play along to pop tunes or whatever it is that you want to be playing along to as well. If this has been helpful to you, please like and please subscribe, and also consider Patreon. That will help support this channel and produce more videos like this that are going to help you look at bass in a more musical way and help you become a better bass player. My name's Pete, this is The Infinite Bass, and I'll see you next time.